You're kneeling at a shallow pool in northern Tanzania, 8 million years ago. Around the rim is a pale crust of soda ash, where the lake has been drying for centuries. The water is warm. It smells of eggs. You are thirsty enough that your tongue feels thick, and everything in you wants to drink. Right now, clean water is about 10 steps from where you're sitting. You have never once wondered whether it would kill you. So how did the earliest humans find water safe enough to drink, with no microscopes, no chlorine, and no idea that disease existed? It isn't a small question. Even today, with treatment plants and testing labs, diarrheal disease kills hundreds of thousands of children under 5 every year. Bad water doesn't need teeth. It has outlasted every predator our ancestors ever ran from. Start with geography. In 2014, hydrogeologist Mark Cuthbert and Rutgers University geologist Gail Ashley published a study in PLOS 1 reconstructing the water supply at Olduvai Gorge, the same landscape you're kneeling in. The lake at the center of that basin was saline and alkaline. Undrinkable, streams ran briefly and vanished. But rain falling on the volcanic highlands soaked into the rock, traveled underground, and re-emerged kilometers away as freshwater springs. Cuthbert's modeling suggested some of those springs could keep flowing for hundreds of years with no rainfall at all. And when you map where the stone tools and hominin fossils sit, they sit beside the springs, 8 million years ago, straight through the driest swings of the climate cycle. The first water purification system in human history wasn't invented. It was located, several hundred meters of volcanic rock, doing the work for free. So what does that get you? On its own, not enough. Because knowing where water is and knowing whether to trust it are two different problems, and the second one is older than our species. In 2022, Hella Peer of the University of Kent published a paper in the journal Primates with Catherine Hobader and Klaus Zuberblur on the Waibira chimpanzees of Budongo Forest, Uganda. Between 2013 and 2019, the team documented 56 well-digging events by 20 different individuals. The behavior appears to have arrived with a single animal, a young female called Oniofi, who immigrated into the community around 2015 and dug so competently that the others gathered to watch her. Dominant males waited their turn, then borrowed her well. Here's the strange part. The wells were dug beside open water, sometimes a few paces from it. They weren't digging to reach water, they were digging to pull it through sand first. Everyone assumes filtration is a human invention that arrives with pottery, or plumbing, or chemistry. The evidence says otherwise. Our closest living relatives do it with their hands, in mud, and teach it to each other by example. Then there's the defense you're carrying at this exact moment. In 2015, Deanna Beasley and Rob Dunn at North Carolina State University, working with colleagues in Colorado and Missouri, published a review in PLOS 1 comparing stomach acidity across 68 species of birds and mammals. Herbivores landed around pH 4 to 6, generalist carnivores 2-2, obligate scavengers, the animals eating things that have been dead for days 1-3, humans came in at 1. 5, you are classified as an omnivore, and you are walking around with the stomach chemistry of a vulture. The authors argue the stomach functions as an ecological filter, destroying incoming microbes before they can colonize the intestines. The evolutionary timing is still argued over, but it sits alongside another piece of hardware. Humans carry roughly 25 distinct bitter taste receptor genes, mapped by Wolfgang Meyerhoff's team in 2010, a chemical alarm system that fires before you swallow, not after. Bad water announces itself. Sulfur, salt, rot, bitterness, you were built to flinch. But there's a ceiling on what a body can do, and the answer above it is portable. In 2010, Pierre-Jean Texier of the University of Bordeaux and an international team reported in Nas on Deep Kloof Rock Shelter in South Africa's Western Cape, 270 fragments of deliberately engraved ostrich eggshell, dated to roughly 60,000 years ago. The engravings took the headlines as the earliest reliable evidence of a graphic tradition anywhere. The container is the part that matters here. One fragment preserved a punched opening about 12 millimeters wide. Kalahari foragers used the identical object into living memory. Puncture the shell, fill it with around a liter of water, seal it, and bury caches of them along a route you intend to walk months later. A person who can carry water is a person who can refuse water. That is the entire trick. And boiling? Everyone assumes boiling is the ancient answer. Boiling is shockingly late. In 2004, Naama Goren Inbar of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem published Evidence in Science for Controlled Fire at Gesher Beno Yaakov, Israel, nearly 790,000 years ago. The oldest known pottery comes from Xianrendong Cave in Jiangxi Province, China, dated by Xiaohong Wu of Peking University and colleagues in 2012 to between 20,000 and 19,000 years ago. That is a gap of more than 3/4 of a million years between owning fire and owning something to put on it. though John Spath of the University of Michigan argued in 2015 that the gap is partly an illusion of preservation. You can boil water in bark, in hide, in leaves set directly in the flames. None of it survives to be dug up. Then, around 7,000 years ago, people stopped searching for safe water and started manufacturing it. In 2012, Willy Tegel of the University of Freiburg and colleagues published a dendrochronological study in Plo's one of 4 wooden wells excavated at Altschwitz, Brodau, and Ythra in Saxony, eastern Germany. 151 oak timbers, dated ring by ring